All right. Hello, everybody. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. Maybe I should say Sláinte. I'm very excited today. I am chatting with two members of Celtic rock band, Uncle Bard and the Dirty Bastards. I am talking with Silvano Ancellotti. Did I say it this time? Who's a guitar player. And then Lorenzo Testa, who plays both mandolin and banjo in the band as well. So thank you guys so much for joining me. How are you doing today?
We're good. Thank you for having us. And then if you have a podcast that talks about beers and music.
Yeah. So I pair craft beer with music, with mostly rock and metal and punk and stuff like that. So yeah.
Perfect.
So I'm actually having in honor of your Celtic music, I'm having a Nitro Irish Stout from a brewery here in America called Breckenridge Brewing, which is out of Colorado. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
All right. Well, let's talk about probably the big news right now with you guys is you've got a new album coming out, which is a compilation album. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? I've heard of an advanced copy. It's fantastic, by the way. Excellent music. So yeah, I know it's coming out very soon. I think in a week. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Well, it's our first collaboration actually with a label, because we've been going on for like 15 years as a DIY band. We released already 3 albums and 1 EP, and then we met Engineer Music and they came up like, why don't we throw you in a worldwide market, with a compilation? And so it's basically something that could be something like a greatest hits album, but honestly I don't even know if we have greatest hits, so whatever. We squeezed 15 years of music into that album.
Great. So it includes music from all 3 of your albums as well as the EP then, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Very cool. And I know your most recent album was The Man Beyond the Glass, which came out just a couple of years ago, 2020, I believe, right? So kind of right in the middle of the pandemic. But great music.
We did a long project about that album. It took like months to get recorded. We were planning a nice promotion, and then 1 month before the release, pandemic starts. So
no. It was delayed, and well, at least the album had been recorded, right? That's good. So as you said, the new album that's coming out, which I believe the release date is August 7th, if I'm correct. So the album, The Story So Far, which apropos, very great name, encompasses the 15 years of the band. And for those that don't know, and I think it's kind of fascinating, so you're Italians, you're an Italian band, but you play Celtic, Irish rock music. So kind of how did that start? When did you guys get interested in Irish music?
Yeah, Lorenzo, do you want to answer?
Do your answer, then I'll do mine.
Yeah,
each one of us has a different story, so go on.
Yeah, well, we all come up from like rock bands, punk band, metal bands, and for a reason, as a little celebration, we decided to join our forces together for just one show, doing something we never do, but about a music that we really like, which is Irish music. Cool. And so the very first show was like kind of fun, and even in a small range, successful. So we decided to carry on. And I just got into that kind of music going through the Celtic punk bands, like Flogging Molly, Dropkick Murphys. Then other members in the band, they are more related to the more traditional part, like Lorenzo. And so it becomes its part.
Nice. Very cool. It's kind of how did you get into Irish music, Lorenzo?
Well, I used to listen a lot of folk rock bands back in the past. Thanks to my father as well. Bands like Horslips or also even traditional bands. Well, in our era, in our hometown, there is a huge festival called Busto Folk. It's mainly focused on Irish music, and I went there when I was really young, seeing bands like Lunas or Chieftains or stuff like that. So I was into that. And then during, well, 20 years ago, a lot of Italians moved to Ireland to find new jobs. And then I started traveling up and down from Italy to Ireland and to meet friends. And then I just fell in love with Irish music. It was already probably something that I loved before. And then I had a banjo at home, so started playing in a proper way Irish music, and then I found my way.
Nice.
Yeah, I was into a thrash metal band before, so
Oh, really?
that was good for triplet, to play the triplet for the banjo. Yeah, but then that's it for me.
Nice.
Well, it's kind of fun, but we could say we actually grew up with some kind of Irish music in our ears since we had this festival like going since forever in our hometown. And so there is this kind of interest on this music in our small area. And for some reason, we ended up playing that music all the time.
Yeah, that's really interesting that that there's an Irish festival in your town. I mean, that's really cool. That's interesting that, and I guess, it's, being in America, which is a very large nation, it seems almost bizarre. I mean, and we have a lot of, it's a melting pot. So there's a lot of different cultures here, a lot of different music and things like that. So it makes sense. And you're not that far really from Ireland, in terms of geography. So it would make sense. And I know there's, as Lorenzo mentioned, there's, with jobs and a lot of immigration, people moving around throughout Europe. That makes sense that music would, travel as well, and kind of, oh, hey, you got yourself a beer, nice. And cheers.
I'm the only one with no beer.
Yeah, you need a beer, Silvano. So and speaking of festivals, one thing I think is really cool and fascinating is you guys travel all over the world and play festivals everywhere. I mean, you've played in the States, you played in England, you played in Ireland, of course, and you win awards, and that was one thing that I was. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I guess when I first heard you a while ago, I had no idea you were Italian the first time I heard you guys, and I assumed you were Irish. And then when I found out, like, oh wow, these guys are not even, I mean, they're not Irish. That's amazing. Like, it's so authentic. It's really interesting that you've gravitated towards that music, but it's very cool too. I love it. I think it's great. And you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
Oh, I was saying, so yeah, tell me a little bit about the festivals that you're playing, and do you have anything coming up soon? Do you have any plans for festivals right now?
Well, we're gonna play tomorrow actually in Switzerland. And then the places where we play the most are like Switzerland, Germany, and France. Because actually there are many festivals on that theme. But mostly in Germany and Switzerland, we even play many rock festivals.
Okay.
We got this crazy lineup once with suicidal tendencies and Volbeat.
Oh wow! Oh cool.
It's kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, the first thing that always happen when we play festivals is like, people comes after a show like cheering, hey, great. And then we're like, you're not Irish. We are from Italy, I'm sorry. And they're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I don't even
surprising that it's cool. It's great. It's, and I love that, the idea of cultures coming together and embracing one another and embracing one's music. And yeah, I think it's cool that it's had such an impact on you. And I guess I'm curious. Oh, it looks like we may have lost Lorenzo. I'm curious. Oh, there is. For both of you, I'm really curious about not just how you got into Irish music, but also just music in general. Did you grow up in musical families? When did you start playing? When especially Silvano, when did you start playing guitar? When did that happen for you?
I think I was, I don't know, 13, 14. I started with the bass because I thought it was easier. You don't have to play chords,
Right.
And then actually my family is absolutely not related with music. I mean, it took quite a while to let them believe that could turn into a proper job or something like that. And yeah, I started with a lot of rock music, metal music. I was a teenager in the 90s, so I was a lot about like Guns N' Roses, stuff like that.
Cool.
Very, very classic. But then I love punk music. I love music that keeps people together, and Irish music is actually really into that thing. Yeah,
it's definitely about community and and brotherhood and sisterhood, and great drinking songs too.
Yeah, exactly. And then at some point in the Dirty Bastard, where was needed the guitar player because our main guy Bardo moved from the flute to the bass, and so I said, "All right, I'm gonna play guitar."
Cool.
There it is. Yeah.
Nice. How about you, Lorenzo? When did you start playing music?
Well, I was 7 years old thanks to my brother. My brother is older than me, and he was into metal scene. And so I started playing guitar. Then I have to say that there was a really huge metal scene, hard and heavy scene in our area. It was really good. We had a lot of bands, and there was a lot of clubs and venues to play. So that was it. And my father also was very passionate about music in general, especially rock back in the 70s. And so it was a kind of natural process for me.
Nice. When did you transition over to banjo and mandolin?
I don't remember why I bought a banjo, but it was at home along with an accordion that I never played anyway. And probably I really started playing the banjo in a proper way when we started this band. So, 15 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to play guitar, little guitar before.
Right. And then you also play the mandolin too, which is cool.
Yeah, that's quite the same because it's the same tuning, so it's not so difficult to switch from the banjo to mandolin.
Nice, very cool.
And then I think the reason because Dirty Bastard are together is because that metal scene back in the 90s, since every single one of us was in a different band, and we're basically playing all the clubs every week, so we're like meeting each other and then like getting friends or like hating the band of the other guy, that's how it goes. But then we actually got friends and then we started a band together.
Nice. Do you remember whose idea it was to like, hey, let's do Irish music? Did it just kind of come? Did you like who kind of started that idea? Because you, as you mentioned, you were all kind of in metal and punk bands, and like, who was the one that was like, "Hey, I have an idea"?
It was me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was my idea because I was more into this kind of music. So I proposed. I had the idea. Then let's try. Let's try and see what to do.
And everybody was like, "Yeah, let's do it," or were they like, "You're crazy"? Was everybody ready to go right from the beginning?
About me, when there is something silly to do, I'm mostly always in. Cool. So it was actually the first guy coming up with this idea, and then I think we really started after the three of us, him, me, and Bardo, we went to this Dropkick Murphys show, and it was like, yeah, we need to do that. And we were terrible at the very beginning.
Just trying to get your feet wet and trying to figure it out, I would imagine. Nice. That's funny. Kind of circle back a little bit, you know, in terms of you know, music and starting out. I was curious who, you know, for both of you, as you know, being guitar players, who were the musicians that influenced you? Who were the guitar players that you looked up to, and songwriters that you looked up to?
Who's the first? Lorenzo.
Hold on, I need to find my charger for the iPhone because it's.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna start. Well, it's not easy because I'm not that kind of musician really interested into like technique, or I mean, good enough.
Come on, favorite is Steve Vai, Silvano.
Yeah, of course.
Or Joe Satriani.
Yeah, we have the same haircut. Well, I mean, I would say, as a songwriter, I would say that people like Frank Turner, Bruce Springsteen, they're like the thing for me. Okay. I mean, I keep listening to the songs, and then I keep trying to understand how on those simple chords they can build a amazing piece of music, and then the lyrics, and then everything. So yeah, and about guitar playing, I would say something to make Lorenzo mad, but one of my favorite guitar player ever is the guitar player from Hanover Rocks.
Oh, okay.
Which is Andy McCoy. And I think it's great. It's very simple, but it's brilliant on melodies and stuff. It all comes from Clash, I think.
Right.
So we could say early punk, you know, even like the Clash, Johnny Thunders, stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
Very, very, very vintage.
Nice. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Lorenzo? I don't know if you're able to talk yet.
Well, talking about the banjo, the main banjo players out there are Jerry O'Connor. He used to play with Joe Bonamassa as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or Anders Kyle from We Banjo 3. And it's more traditional. And as guitar player, I don't know. I probably Gary Old from X. My favorite. And for songwriting, well, no idea. I have to think about it. I used to listen really to a lot of different stuff, so it's very hard to say that. Each one of every band has some influence on how I play and how I write music, so it's good. Nice. That's it. Yeah.
Speaking of writing music, I was curious, kind of what's the process for the band? You know, is there one primary songwriter, or do you all contribute, or is it, you know, it's kind of a collaborative effort? How do you guys come up with songs?
It's like basically three of us, which is Lorenzo, I think, is the one who writes more songs, and then it's me, and then Guido, the singer. And we have different approaches on songs. Some of those, it's like one of us start doing the pre-production and it's ready, but then, you know, we add all the arrangement. Or some of those, they grow together, but mostly when we bring a song, it's at least chords and vocals are already done, coming from one person. More likely, is it? But then I think on the last album we did more team job.
Okay.
On
the last album,
from the lyrics, I have to say that I usually start from the lyrics, from the idea, the general idea of a song, and then I try to find the proper music to that idea, and then we work together anyway. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like Man of the Storm, one of the song. I've been lying for like 3 years there, you know, with lyrics,
More?
chords, but it was
Probably
not coming out.
5. Yeah.
Even 5. Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow. Interesting. Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. So tell me a little bit about kind of the rest of the band and how you guys play off of each other, and you know, kind of how, you know, I know you mentioned how you all met, you know, and came together as a band originally, but you know, kind of how do you guys still work together and collaborate, and you know, kind of do you have similar goals and plans going forward? You know, kind of what's the band dynamic like?
It's like a marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like being married with five other men. That's very good.
Right.
But yeah, that's it. When we're out on the road together for so long, so many days, it's sometimes hard. But we were friends before, and this was really important.
Yeah.
This has always been really important because it's very hard sometimes. Yeah.
Nice. Do you have you know, I know you've got the you know, the story so far, you know, looks at, you know, it's a, you know, kind of collection of songs from your entire career. Are you guys working on new music currently? Do you have any, you know, plans for another studio release, you know, or even or a live release? I was curious if you guys do any recording of your live shows, of your festival shows.
Thank you for the question, since the next one is gonna be a live album.
Oh, great.
Yeah, is what Engineer Music offered us.
Oh, okay.
So they said, let's do a compilation and then a live album. We're gonna record it in a festival in France at the end of this month.
Oh, cool.
No, next month. And
Yeah.
already and we're already kind of terrified about that.
You're terrified.
You are. I'm not.
Well, you should.
I guess that's a lot of pressure, isn't it? Like knowing that you're being, you know, that you're recording the show. It's a little bit of more pressure than just playing live, probably. But I think that's exciting news, because I think you know, I mean, your albums are fantastic. You know, the studio work is great, but I think there's something about, and I've never seen you live apart from, you know, on YouTube, and there's something about that kind of energy which will be really cool to capture that on an album, is that live energy of the band, because it seems like you guys really play off of each other well in a live atmosphere. Not to say that you don't in a studio, but I think, you know, that live, like, you guys really feed off of each other's energy, and the audience's energy too, which is cool.
Yeah, we did kind of many shows, and so I mean, I was saying that we are terrified, but honestly, we've been playing so much together that it must turn me out to be something good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I think I read somewhere you guys have played over 1,000 shows live over the years, right? You've had a lot of, you know, all over the world too, you know, everywhere, you know, and including, you know, the States, you know, as you mentioned, Ohio and New York, and you know, playing festivals and probably clubs and things like that. So, and I think so I'm hoping eventually to see you guys play live. I'd love to see you in a big venue, but I'd love to see you in a club venue. I think that would be really, really fun to see, like in a pub.
Yeah, those are the
last. I'm sorry, what?
Those are my favorites. The small clubs, small venues.
Yeah.
Silvano, what do you think? The Baronessa is probably the best every year.
Yeah, we have this small club in Switzerland, and I think it's the first place where we got a sold out years ago, and really is small, but you always get like very well, it gets sold out and people goes mad. You know, we got this show with our tour manager. It was like flying over the head of people.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, he's a very quiet guy, but it was not able to choose if doing stage diving or not. They just got him and it threw him over the people. And you know, it's good fun.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that, you know, I and I highly encourage people to check you guys out online. That's one, you know, with those live shows, it just seems it's a party. It's just such a fun atmosphere, and yet you're playing these really cool intricate songs, you know, and again, very, very, very Irish. And it just seems like, yeah, such a great environment, and it's so positive. That's what I love about your music too. It's very positive and uplifting, and exciting too. It's you know, like and very traditional, which is cool too. I mean, it sounds, like I said, I mean, I would imagine, and I'm curious too about this, is kind of how, you know, maybe, you know, in the early days, it may have been different, but how have you been accepted by the Irish people? Like, because you played in Ireland, and how are people shocked when they find out that you're not Irish?
Well, actually, on Ireland, we've been busking on the streets. We didn't do full band show.
Oh, okay.
Where it was Lorenzo, me, and Guido. We went busking on the streets for like 10 days.
Oh, wow.
But then people were, well, they took it as tribute to their music, and then that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's folk music. It's supposed to be, you know, for the people, to keep people together, and so that's what we try to do.
Nice. So you've got a show tomorrow, and then you mentioned the show in France at the end of August. Do you are you guys booked out for the rest of the year? Do you have you know, what do you have scheduled after that?
Lorenzo, please tell.
You don't remember the gigs. So we are in we're basically touring all year long, except maybe from December to February. And next gigs we are in Switzerland, and then Italy probably.
Okay. Center of Italy.
Then France, Switzerland, Germany, and then we probably are going to take a stop in October.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very busy, very busy, because we have been stuck at home for 2 years, so we gotta do all the gigs now.
Right. Yeah, it seems like it's wild. And I'm sure it's probably similar in Italy. Here in America right now, it just seems like everybody is touring, you know, because musicians couldn't tour for so long, and now you have to, you know, I mean, I'm running out of money. There's so many shows. I have to pick and choose which show to go. I mean, there'll be, you know, multiple great shows in 1 week, you know, where it's like, okay, which show do I go to? You know, even the same day, there'll be, you know, amazing bands playing on the same night. So it's hard to, I get that's a good problem to have, I suppose. Yeah, you know, like there's all this great live music again, which is great to have again, because that was, those 2 years, that was tough not having live music out there. And I'm sure it was really hard for you as musicians not to be able to play.
But it's exactly the same in Italy. You know, then we live close to Milan, and Milan was like 5 massive shows together same day.
Right.
But yeah, everybody is on tour, and then since everybody's in the festivals during the week, everybody's in different town, and you have to choose.
Right, exactly. Well, guys, this has been really great talking with you. I really enjoyed it, and you know, best of luck to you. You're for everybody watching, definitely read in the description below. There'll be links to their page, Uncle Bard and the Dirty Bastards. You want to check them out. New album drops next week. The story so far. But I do have one last question for you both. So as we, you know, as you know, my page is Brews and Tunes. I pair craft beer with music, mostly metal and hard rock. So I was curious, question for both of you: when when you're hanging out at home, not touring, what beer are you drinking and what album are you listening to?
That's a nice question. I think Lorenzo can answer before me, so I can think.
Well, at the moment, I'm listening a lot to Frank Turner. I don't know why. I started last week. There was, and usually, there is a sound check going on. Sorry.
Oh, that's right.
What else? A lot of traditional bands, actually.
Cool.
Hold on. Something's happening. Okay. And what do I drink? At home, I'm drinking red wine usually.
Okay.
I say that. And then I no longer keep beer at home because it was too dangerous. So I just open a bottle and keep that for 2 or 3 days, a bottle of red wine. But usually when I'm out, I'm drinking stout beers.
Okay,
And,
cool.
English beer or Scottish beer. Those are my favorites.
Nice. Very cool. How about you, Silvano?
Well, when I'm home, I mostly drink like very, very simple pills or Italian lager beer, like Peroni, Moretti, stuff like that. It's very, very standard beer that, especially in summer, it's very important to have something refreshing. And about the albums I'm listening, well, I was listening today to the Seeger session from Bruce Springsteen, which is something I listen all the time.
Nice.
And then I think my favorite album this year is the one from a small tiny band from Norway, which is called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And the album is called Research and Destroy. It's very, very kind of hardcore thing.
Nice.
Very, very nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, two very different things, but
nice. I love it. That's great. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure and an honor chatting with you. So cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for having us.